All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. We actually got quite a few people in here tonight. Cal, glad to see you back. Tara, you too. Python, glad you could join us for your first live stream. I've answered quite a few of your questions this week. Let's see. Rico, welcome. Luna, good to see you. A12. Hey. Let's see. Terror Twister, the movie is on my TV. Can't stop thinking about tornado dragons. Love this dumb movie. That's actually a pretty good movie. I won't even lie. But I grew up in Tornado Alley, so it was an interesting twist on something. It's like, that ain't how that works. But it's still a good movie. Let's see. Mornoldas, hey, glad you can make it. Morgan, good to see you again. Welcome. Made sure to get my coffee. KRY, good to see you. Jade, welcome. Glad you can make it. Also, don't forget, we are going to have another keyword tonight in order to win a Dragon Magic 101 course for free. So make sure you stay on the stream and keep up and listen for the keyword for your chance to comment once the video processes and uploads, so that you can comment below it in order to enter your chance to win. Which that goes for all the videos. We need all the comments in by, that is not the correct piece of paper. Oh, that's the correct piece of paper. Midnight on March 24th. So let's see here. So hopefully y'all got you some snacks, got you some coffee, you know, getting ready to close this weekend out. Hopefully we can answer some questions, have some fun. It's always good to close out our weekends with some laughs up in here. Let's see. Animal Man, glad you could join us. Tara, yes, thank you, Tara. You good? Thank you for reminding me. Yes, if you are here, do give the video a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel a lot. And YouTube is going through some changes in algorithms, so our channel's been getting hit a little rough. So make sure you are giving thumbs up and leaving comments. Anything you can do to help us out, we'd appreciate it. Let's see. Peachy, glad you can make it. Well, Python, it's always good to have new people joining us for the coffee hour. It really is. Tara, also good luck to everyone who is entering the contest to win the 101 course. That's awful nice of you there, Tara. Yeah, that is. It is. And yes, definitely good luck to y'all. I was actually working a little bit on the 102 today, because we're trying to get that course. I mean, it is coming this year. No worries there. Obviously, I didn't hit the deadline I wanted, but that's life. You know, we don't always get what we want. But it has been an interesting day, to say the least. Let's see. Okay. See, whoa, okay, we're getting a lot of people in here tonight. That's nice. Hellspine, good to see you. Pyron, blessed star to you too. Hope everyone did have a good equinox. If you did anything for the equinox or celebrate it, I hope you enjoyed it. See, Jedi Master J, hello, second stream too. Shy to say hi, but I've been watching and searching a lot and watching previous streams. I'm making my runes and starting with Guardian Dragon and Co-Magician. You inspire me. Well, Jedi Master, I appreciate that very much. I'm glad my work can help you out there. And believe me, I understand the shy bit. I really do. As most of you know, I'm terrified of cameras, which is a little ironic considering I do these things. Let's see. Emery, it's good to see you. Little Earth Dragon, welcome back. Divine Cartomancer, good to see you again too. So yeah, interesting little factoid though. I was going through some notes and everything, and both of my notebooks for the Fae pathworkings are not where they're supposed to be, and no one's been in the house since I've seen them last. So my first gut reaction was, well, I'll just go, speak with Tatiana and Mab and see if they know where I misplaced them at or whatnot. Did not get the response I thought I'd get. Turns out they's the ones that hit them. They're trying to refocus my attention from those path workings to another area. And I'm not sure I'm allowed to say what that area is just yet, but it really threw me for a curveball. But then again, I don't know what I mean. You work with the Fae. What do you expect? So that's going to definitely delay my getting those completed because it's like, we're not giving you information and we even hid your current information. I'm processing that still because I'm an information junkie. And I don't like when people take my notes, but they could have just told me, refocus, and that would have been cool. That's all right. I get it. That's what you get when you work with the queens, eh? Though I will say this, the goal they put me on, though I don't know if I can share it fully just yet. I kind of like it. I really do. I love it. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll see what happens with that, how long it lasts and all that stuff. I actually need to speak with Mab to see if I'm supposed to start the winter path working after the summer solstice as originally planned, or if that's on delay also. Because I had all the notes until they hit them. I guess if I don't get the notes back, I don't start it. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that was an interesting little part of my day because it's just like, are you freaking kidding me here? It's like all this work, all this time, and you're just hitting the pause button on me. Oh. But if I've learned anything in my time as a magician, it's when they hit those pause buttons and move your attention to something else, that something else is a big deal to them and you. There's going to be great growth and progress in that movement. So I do try to be as adaptable as possible when something like that happens, even though it is kind of a pet peeve of mine. But just because it's a pet peeve doesn't mean it's not the right move. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of a thing. I figured I would at least share that part with you because I know many of you are actually looking forward to those path workings as much as I am. So I figure since, hey, we're a community here, it's like, let me share the frustration. See, Python, your videos have been very helpful for me. I just started Magick. Python, man, I'm glad to hear it. I really am. Really glad to hear it. That's one reason we started this channel, is to try and get as much practical and useful information out there as we can. Because I know it can be hard. It really can. Mr. Mystic Dan, are you referring to me? My name's Drake, but you can just call me Drake. You don't have to call me Mr. or Mystic. Azurite, I don't use Azurite a lot. I'll be honest with you. So I'm not really sure I'm a good person. When it comes to stones and stuff, that's an area I only use very specific stones when I use it. And I don't even use a lot of those. Outside a clear crystal quartz orb and an obsidian orb, both of which were gifts. I don't think I've used a crystal in about a year. It's been a while. So I apologize. I actually currently can't say I know enough about Azerite to answer your question, Hellspine. I apologize. Let's see. Divine Cartomancer, do you know when you are going to do a video on Leviathan? Actually, yeah, very soon. I've been getting a lot of questions about Leviathan. And I actually made sure to go and speak with the 9 rulers about this because Leviathan is one of those dragons I love to work with, and he pops up in so many different areas. And it's such a complex dragon, too. And of course, he shows up in a lot of demonic lore because people do want to turn this entity into a demon just because it shows up in the Bible. But I didn't know how to originally approach it, and I wasn't sure if they were going to include this entity in one of the Dragon Magic courses specifically. And I was looking over my notes, and he's not in them anywhere. And he has a lot of unique traits about him that other dragons do not have. And I've actually wanted to know if the 9 rulers wanted to include him in the courses or not, since he is. It's really hard to say he fits in any of the first 3 courses, and he's definitely not in the 4th. So we did sit down and discuss that, and we've decided the best way to approach Leviathan is just, instead of putting him in one of the courses, since he is one of the more approachable dragons. I mean, he's a harsh dragon to work with. He can make massive, massive change in your life. And I say harsh in a good way. I know that sounds weird, but he's only harsh because the changes he brings is such a massive change that most people don't like change. But we are actually going to be doing a video on Leviathan for the YouTube channel because like I said, he doesn't really fit well into any of the courses without just like kind of forcing him into a spot. So we will be doing a video on him very soon. He's actually on the he's actually in the current list of videos we're working on scripting right now. So yeah, we definitely have one coming. And we are going to try and talk about the fact that he is viewed as a demon and a dragon, and some of the philosophies on why, and that neither one's necessarily right or wrong. Let's see. That's how I found my giant wood staffs. I stopped, followed. I'm making a druid staff as well. Nice, nice, nice. Staffs are really nice. Oh, Hellspot, it's no big deal. No big deal. Weirdly enough, Dan is actually pretty good. There was when I was on, it was when we was in Washington State. I don't know what it is. They just could not understand my accent, so they automatically assumed um, my name was Greg. Like everywhere we went, anytime we ordered, they'd ask my name. I'd say Drake, and they would always put down Greg. And I don't know why. I'm going to have to guess it was an accent thing. So, Kyle, my younger brother, Tien, has been on his way for a few years now and is very certain and dedicated to the Ice Giant Skull D. Is big into Norse mythology and enjoys connecting with people. Skaldea is a magnificent goddess to work with. She really is. I adore working with Skaldea. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Let's see. Could you do a video on Skull D? Yeah, I actually could. I am wanting to add more Norse videos, and Skull D is actually one of the ones I do want to do. Because I love anytime I get a chance to work with her. So yeah, I'll make sure to try and bump her up on the list a little bit there for you, Cal. So definitely tell your keep an eye out for that one. So yeah, he is one of the dragons that is a cross elemental dragon. So he's made up of multiple elements, and chaos is one of the elements in which he comes at you with. And that chaos bit does bleed into everything he does. But what's unique about him in many ways is the only elements you can access when you're working with him is the elements that you are actually prepared for. So if you've not worked your way through the appropriate rulers and created a bond and an understanding with those rulers, you cannot access certain aspects of him. That's where he is truly unique. And that's one of the reasons why he's perfect to actually go ahead and do a YouTube video on. Because honestly, you could technically stick him in all three of the first three courses. The way it is, he's a progressional dragon, even though he's a cross element dragon. Fascinating dragon, really. Luna, don't do it. Don't do it. In one of your videos, the astrology demon of Virgo, I've did a video on astrology dragons, but I don't know that I did one on demons. And as far as the astrology dragons, I don't work with them a lot. So recalling their names without looking at my notes would be difficult, Morgan. I do apologize there. Wow, that seems very nice of him. It does seem nice of him because he's like one of the only ones that seems to have an energetic throttle. But the thing is, even though we can say there's a partial throttle there, any of the elements that you are able to work with, he just hits you. It's like drinking out of a fire hose. It really is. He hits you quick and he hits you hard. But still, he's a dragon I've enjoyed working with. Let's see. Anime geek. Do I know anything about dragons? Well, one would think I do, considering that's what most of this channel's been dedicated to for over a year now. Anime geek. I had a dream last night. Heard a commanding voice. See what you're capable of. I then did something physical. I said no magically. I want to see what you're capable of. Actually, sounds like something's calling to you, which is actually not that uncommon. Do you know anything about fairy dragons? Yeah, fairy dragons they're very similar to any other elemental dragon or dragon of any energy current. They're not actually fae, though. That is a common misconception. They actually are not fae. They're only dragons that are allied with the fae and actually take up residence within the fae realms. And since dragons do take on a likeness and a vibration to the energy currents they work most with, since these ones are dedicated allies that focus on working within those fae energies, they also shift over and take on a very fae-like trait and appearance. And they can come in all sizes, from little tiny things all the way up to the massive ones. and they are actually completely gorgeous. But they are also split between summer and winter, or the Seelie and the Unseelie. So you also got to be careful there, because they do actually adhere to the Fae traditions in those ways. So I hope that helps you out a little bit there. Let's see, astrology dragons. Well, there's countless things out there, emeries with deep rumbling voices, and many of them. I mean, none of them is necessarily bad either. So that's not really enough to narrow it down. Even a lot of your feminine deities can do the deep rumbling voice if they want to, and they tend to like to. There are dragons that work within the Cliffothic current. There's not a specific Cliffothic ruler dragon. Many of the entities that do rule over the Cliffoth do take on a draconic shape or form, but they in of themselves, Hellspawn, are not true dragons. It's just a more symbolic form. Similar to Lucifer, he will take on a draconic form many times, as will Belial. He's also been known to do so, but they are not dragons in and of themselves. There's a difference between a true dragon and an entity that will just take on a draconic form. That's why there is a separation between dragon magic and draconian magic. Draconian magic isn't working with dragons, it's working with the symbolism of the serpents and the dragons. Oh, he does. He hits you hard, Tara. There's no doubts there. He does. He hits very hard, but definitely worth it. It is definitely worth the work to put into it. So it is definitely worth the work. I think one of the more interesting descriptions of Leviathan I heard from a fellow colleague of mine was Leviathan, no matter when you're working with him, he is like a storm. But it's a cleansing storm. So you're going to, not only is everything going to get cleared out, but you're going to come out of that storm stronger. But there's always going to be the storm when he's there. And when I first heard this, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But over time, as I've thought about it more and more, I see where he's coming from, because it's when you're working with Leviathan, more often than not, there is that real harsh, stressful period, and it does do a lot to clear out a lot of crap in your life. It almost hits a reset, but it's not a reset, because not only is it clearing things out, but there's a period of massive growth in there. So once that storm clears, not only do you have all this healing done, these things that are cleared out, things that are washed away, but you come out far better than you went in anyway, on top of that. So, I mean, it took me a while to really wrap my head around what he was saying on that one. But I really love the way he laid that one down, because that does make a lot of sense to me. Now, anyways. Let's see. When you're doing your research on dragons or entities, Morgan, okay, when I'm doing my research with dragons and entities, most of the dragons I work with, you cannot find them online. So like, for example, if you go through the Dragon Magic 101 through 103, there's going to be like 45 dragons that you're not going to find their names or sigils anywhere online. They're dragons that I've met over the years through my research, worked very close with. I've also had other colleagues contact them to help confirm the workings and success rates. So for that stuff, there is no resources. It's you literally got to do the footwork yourself as a magician. And a lot of what I'm putting in those courses is just that. You're not going to find it elsewhere. The only ones that you can find any information that I'm aware of elsewhere is the 9 rulers. And that's pretty sparse because you can find them in Conway's works, but she only really talks about the first 4. The other 5 she completely ignores and almost just, I think she might drop a name for them and that's it. She doesn't really talk about how to work with them or any of those things. I don't necessarily know her full reasonings for that, but that's neither here nor there. So of the rest of them, yeah, I do know that any of them are actually are dragons that are published anywhere else. Definitely none I've ever found. As far as other entities, my go-to method is I will try and check the lore somewhat, and I take one of 2 paths. Sometimes I will check the lore before I contact the entity, and sometimes I'll check the lore after. But I will check the lore as best I can, and I try to find original sources. I don't want opinion pieces. So, like for Norse entities, I go to the Poetic Eddas, things that were recorded in the Codex Regius, and I actually look at the direct cultural references to the entities, not opinion pieces, because unfortunately, when you go online and you look for an entity, most of the articles that you tap up and find on Google are opinion pieces where people have completely changed the entity to suit what they want it to be because they didn't like it. That's the reason most people see Freya as a love and beauty goddess only. Her combat aspect, her war aspect, her death aspect, they didn't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that at all. But that's very much who she was, more so than a love and beauty goddess. So I do try to dig up root cultural sources, and then I approach the entity and I start to compare and contrast. And I try to get to know them. I do not rely on the internet at all. I actually go to the entity, speak with them, and talk to them, even when it comes from a cultural source. Like one of my favorite things I've done with Odin is him and I have sat down and read the Havamal together. Because the Havamal is the wisdom of Odin. That's what it's known for, the words of Odin. So I love to sit down and read that and talk about the different stanzas with him and pick his brain on those stanzas and what they might mean and what was being said. And one of the first questions I had was this, his words, was it inspired by him? And he did confirm, yes, this is his teachings. He did admit he didn't pen it himself, but he definitely did have it penned. It was his wisdom shared, which, that's legit. He did also admit that it's gone through some changes culturally through time. The wordings have changed as times has changed. So I hope that answers your question somewhat. I try not to rely on internet. Cal, can you do both dragon and draconian magics? Oh yeah, definitely. As many of you know, I'm actually path working through the Clifothic rulers right now, which is a very draconian. The path working I'm using is a very draconian style practice. Honestly, I've not found a system of magic that dragons are not willing to work with, which is one reason I like dragon magic. They are just so chill and willing to If they want, they'll step back if they need to, or they'll help you. But more often than not, they will help you and advise you, but they won't interfere if you're doing a path working with another system. Yeah, a lot, like especially the Grimoire of Tiamat. That might be the one you're talking about, Cal. That one is a draconian magic practice because, well, that one's Asimov Mason. She is a draconian practitioner. Um, so, yeah, it is going to come and be approached from that direction, and it is functional from that direction. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But yeah, the dragons they got no issues with that. Knock, hello, good to see you. Welcome. Anime geek. Do I have to work with the 4 elemental dragons before I work with fairy dragons? Not if you have a way to contact them. No. At this point in time, I mean, the big problem is the Fey dragons. They work within the Fey realms, so you're going to have access to the Fey realms. Most people who work with them tend to work with fairy magic. So yeah, it's either you're working through dragon magic and end up working with the Fae, which is how I originally ran into the Fae, and you run into the fairy dragons that way, or you're working with the Fae and run into them. J-Boo, welcome. I need to drink coffee. Knock, what are the Jinn? Are they demons or angels? Both. Demons and angels are, again, I can't say this enough. Demons and angels are the exact same entities. They are not 2 separate categories of entities. They are literally the same entities. One is just more representative of order. One is a bit more chaotic. That is literally the only separation between the 2. And the Jinn are actually a form of spirits and entities that can easily fall into those 2 categories. Any predictions for this year? I don't personally do broad span predictions. I mean, everything I know points to some good changes happening, some growth, but I mean, that's not worth a cup of coffee, honestly, for that. Why would Jinn secretly help humans? The same reason any entity would. They actually like to help us. They really do. Contrary to a lot of myths that we don't have a bunch of enemies out there trying to kill us. We have a lot of entities out there that are trying to see the human race grow a little bit and trying to teach us lessons, but not attack us and kill us. Honestly, most of your malevolent spirit type activity, like 99.9% of it, is human spirits. It's nothing of the other stuff. I've enjoyed it. I really have. I mean, it's been a rough road, but it has been a rough road that I have enjoyed. I've really liked the Clifothic workings. I've already completed an entire path working through the spheres, so now I'm working with the rulers. And I've got a path working through the tunnels coming up after I finish this one. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it kind of does. I don't know why either. I really don't. Bags under my eyes, I guess. I don't know. Tori, welcome. When beings pass on to the afterlife on our planet, does Azrael or any other death entity always come to guide you? What if you want to personally meet many death entities when you die? The entity that will come to guide you is the one that you most associate with, whether it be personality-wise or whether it be by path that you follow. If you wish to meet multiple entities, well, once you pass on, you're not stuck to one afterlife. You can jump around from plane to plane, so you can go say hi to them. And if you want to meet multiple entities before you die, you can even do that. Honestly, most of the entities I work with on the regular count as death entities. Python, what is Maelstrom energy? Okay, Python. Honestly, at your age, I would say stay away from it completely. Because you are at an age, from one of your comments, you did put your age in there, so I won't let the age out, but you're going through enough changes in your life that you do not need that headache, because Maelstrom is just that. It is raw, unadulterated change without apology. So when you're working with Maelstrom energy, it is literally, it gets its name from the fact that it is raw, unchecked, unshaped, arcane energy. And its only purpose is to go and make things move and change. Nothing is allowed to be stagnant in the multiverse for any reason. So if it becomes stagnant, the Maelstrom's main job is to move in and to either unstick it and get it moving forward and growing, or to destroy it. And I do mean destroy it, not second chance it, destroy it, wipe it out entirely. And that is why the Maelstrom gets so many practitioners in trouble, because they want change, but they don't realize the Maelstrom doesn't come in and it's like, I need a new apartment. Well, it doesn't pick you up, casually pack your boxes, and then find you a new apartment and move you. It's not soft touched at all. It comes in like a wrecking ball and just wipes everything out and leaves you with no options. It is a very, very drastically harsh energy pattern to work with. But it does come with benefits, and that's one of the reasons it's placed as a high ruler. And it does take a lot to be able to actually harness that or even approach it. Even approaching the ruler of the Maelstrom dragons can actually cause your life to go into a complete chaotic spiral for the next 2 years. That's why I have not done a direct video on that particular ruler, or many of the high rulers for that matter. So yeah, it has its purpose in the multiverse, and if you want to go all the way in dragon magic, that is an energy current you will one day have to master, but it's not one that has a throttle. It's on all or nothing, and it has gotten a lot of people in trouble. A lot. Even experienced magicians have gotten in trouble with that one. Let's see, I missed a few here while I went on that rant. See what we got here. Is there a death dragon? Yep, there are death dragons. There are definitely death dragons. To simplify it, I can't think of a single energy current that there are not dragons associated with. See, every time I study a system like Vedic astrology or Qliphoth, I have the need to reinvent it. I feel as if this is my sort of personal dragon speaking to me. Also said, God of Chaos. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I tried I wonder if there isn't a dragon magic way to work with the Qliphothic tree, but before I go reinventing the wheel, I need to understand it. So anytime I do that, I always make sure I complete it fully and pathwork it as intended first. And I only adjust and change what the specific entities I'm working with at that time change, or suggest to alter as part of the pathworking itself. Otherwise, I work it as is at least the first time through. They do promote change and growth, but they also promote following and respecting a system and its rules. Much like I just said, they want you to understand what it is you're doing before you change it, because you may change something that was important and therefore miss out on something if you don't fully understand it first. It's not a good idea to change something if you've never done it. Let's see. Electrified Mayhem. Cool name, actually. I like that. Welcome. The Maelstrom sounds like it will get you where you need to be, but in an unexpected, chaotic way. Yeah, and it can also kill you. Okay. The Maelstrom can kill you. If you actually try to resist the change that the Maelstrom's trying to bring to you, when I say unapologetic, I mean it. Um, think of those pictures you see people trying to fight against a hurricane. Tree hits them, sign hits them, car hits them. Eventually, a cruise ship hits them, and that's it. They're dead. And well, in all reality, they'd have probably died when the tree hit them. The Maelstrom will do that. If you try to resist and fight the change if you approach the Maelstrom, that energy pattern, you're basically welcoming that energy pattern into your life. And if you open that door, there's not a spigot where you just get a little bit. You either get it all or none. So if you approach it, you're welcoming that change. And if you try to resist it, it can actually take you out. There's a reason I've told people magic is a wonderful tool, but it's not necessarily safe. Okay, let's see. Yoki, Maelstrom's energy seems my jam. Yeah. You've been warned. Just make sure you're ready for it before you get there, because I've seen magicians who's practiced 50 years get their ass handed to them by the Maelstrom. That's Anubis. That's pretty good description. Let's see. Let's see. Whoa, we jumped. Okay, we jumped. Okay, we're jumping. So if you have an important question, I forgot to mention this earlier, but do remember we have the super chats. You can make the donations if you just want to support the work we're doing, or you can even do a small donation. It flashes it really big on the screen. Make sure I see whatever it is you're asking, because we got a lot of people in here tonight. I'm honored. Thank you much for joining us. Appreciate it. We got a lot of new people too, which is awesome. It's good to see the community growing. And Yoko, welcome. Yeah, this is your first time I'm seeing you in here. Good to see you. Welcome. Let's see. Let's see, Anubis. How long does a human soul stay in the astral before getting mostly recycled? They don't get recycled. They don't get recycled at all. First off, the human soul is too big to fit in this little meat suit. Okay, only a small portion of it is what is carnated into this meat suit. That portion maintains that identity and passes on to the afterlife. That's why it's possible for ghosts to exist and possible for you to evoke a past you. Because if it got recycled and you just reincarnated, there'd be nothing there to evoke and nothing to haunt. So it doesn't really recycle in that manner. That is kind of a falsity that's been lost somehow in the reincarnation concept. So now the journey to the afterlife, if that's what you're asking about more specifically, that differs from afterlife to afterlife based on the different journeys to it. and the different myths will talk differently on how that happens. Sometimes it's instantaneous, sometimes it's a few days, sometimes it actually depends on the strength and will of the individual, because it's actually a journey in and of itself to get there. And if you're not actually capable of that journey, you might not get there. So, yeah, hope that answers your question a little bit there, Anubis. Let's see, Orin. Orin, who's older, dragons or Jinn? I can't actually give an accurate answer on that, Orin. But if I had to guess, just on my understanding of the two groups when I've discussed it, because I've never actually asked for a definitive, I suspect dragons are older, because I do know that they predate both angels and demons, and they actually predate most of the gods I've spoke with. Well, they predate all the ones that's confirmed. I've not actually found a deity that says they predate a dragon, or a draconic kind, I should say, because there are gods that are older than dragons. So, well, currently living dragons, but not the species itself. So I don't really 100% know. So I just have to take a guess on that. And my educated guess would be that dragons are older. That would be an educated guess only, nothing more. If I get around to it, I may actually take the time to ask that question. Because, I mean, I don't really see why it matters. That's, I guess, why I've never asked it. But seems to be a lot of people curious about that. Let's see here. See, Hellspawn, thank you for the donation, man. Appreciate it. Man, no, that's cool, man. Believe me, I know money's hard. I grew up living in the negatives. I really did. So I understand that. Andrew, first time here. Howdy. Good to see you, Andrew. Good to see you. We got a lot of great faces in here. Don't forget the code. Oh yeah, don't forget the code. Yeah. Let's do that tonight. What would be a good one? You know what? Let's actually go with Helheim. Let's go with that. If you want a chance to win the Dragon Magic 101 course, when the video processes and YouTube opens the comments below, drop your comment. Make sure you put the word Helheim in there to enter yourself in a chance to win the Dragon Magic 101 course. We'll be drawing for 3 of these courses to be given out. The school does actually say you need to be 18 or older, because you need to create an account for the school. You need to be 18 or older to create the account. So that is kind of a thing. Make sure you are 18 years or older, or at least you have a way to create an account. But do comment Helheim below, and that'll enter you. You do need to make sure you make your comment before midnight Wednesday, March 24th. Otherwise, your entry will not be counted. So thank you for reminding me of that, Jade. Let's see, Anubis, is it possible to create a simulated world within your sanctum, to create a world where you're the god of the world and can experiment on beings within the world? Thought about it while gaming. Technically, it is. None of them will have souls or life force, but it is technically possible. And that's really where the simulation gets flawed, because without soul, the simulation isn't complete. But as far as generally like a virtual reality simulation that would follow basic parameters, it would be. It wouldn't be as accurate as you'd hope, but it's possible. Hi, Drake. I have one question. Does casting the circle light up the astral? Well, actually, a circle will be visible from the astral. That's one of the reasons I tell people if you don't want to deal with entities, don't practice magic. You start moving energy around, you start casting circles, you start poking around in the astral. You're opening a door, and if you can see them, they can see you. That's just how it works. And yes, a circle does create an energetic ripple through the astral, and therefore entities can pick up on it very easily. The reason I say create a ripple, not light up, not all circles light up like a beacon of light. It would depend, the energy that lights up will depend on the energy used for the circle. But no matter what energy it is, the circle will be noticeable. Riven, I've seen that dragons created the planets. That is not inaccurate. The dragons helped many other entities create many planets. Um, that's one of the interesting things that I've found in my journeys is that most creation myths are true. It's just they're only a singular side of the entire canvas. So all these creation entities that are credited for creating actually took part in the creation. It wasn't a singular entity that created everything or a singular group, which I actually found truly fascinating. And one of these days, I may actually have to pull because I've got like notebooks on just different lore and information I've pulled about how things, or at least the physical realm, was created and the different parts, different entities played in it. Because that was a big question for me when I first came here. Because many of you know I came from, well, I was a teacher in a church for a while. So I went to seminary and everything. So I was trying to reach an understanding on how you have all these different things. And if these entities are real, then how is the entity real but not this myth? Where's the disconnect? And the scientific part of me really had an issue with working with any entities because of that. So it was something I really had to research and gain an understanding on. Let's see. Tips practicing astral sight aside from daily meditation and candle work. Sam, yeah, actually, we offer a free arcane sight class over at workingdragonmystic.com. It's a full path working class to help you develop arcane sight. Outside that, which is detailed as hell, practice makes perfect. It does take time. Let's see. 'Twas an energetic love. That's actually that's a really groovy way of putting that, Raven. An energetic love dance. I kind of like that. I do. I like that. I may borrow that one if you don't mind. Let's see. Catherine Rose, blessed Ostara. Blessed Ostara to you too, Catherine. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Electrified Mayhem. Join the Arcane Sight class. So starting that soon. Awesome. Glad to hear it. That is, I had a lot of people tell me I should have charged for that class. But here's my thing. This is my 2 cents on it. I'm trying to get people to practice. I want to see y'all better your lives. I don't know what your path is. I don't know what your goals are. But I know the framework I give can actually help a person better their life, whatever those may be. But no matter the path, arcane sight and your arcane senses are important to all those. And I knew I couldn't get the detailed information I needed in YouTube videos. It's just too limited. And it's just too important. Everyone needed it. So I was like, you know what? No, we're making it free. We are. We're going to make it free. And I still catch a lot of flack on that. But you know what? I'm still happy with that decision, full on. And you all have gotten a lot of use out of it. I constantly get comments and compliments and thank yous, and they're sweet as can be. You guys, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. So yeah, enjoy that one. Is it possible? Let's say when protecting your home self is good ways to defend property and self from hostile or negative entities. Is it possible to completely keep them out, or just make it very hard? Honestly, just make it very hard. There's no such thing as an absolute perfect, flawless defense. Um, if it can be built, it can be destroyed. That's kind of the laws of the multiverse. Nothing is permanent. So everything has a weakness in it somewhere. You have to be creative. It's about how thoughtful and creative you are. That's the reason a lot of practitioners use layered wards, because you've got to get past one layer to get to the next layer, etc. So that's definitely one tactic. Probably the easiest setups to do that I can give you real quick here is protection crystals at the four corners of your property, charged to help protect. I do recommend that you make them accessible so you can recharge them, because contrary to popular belief, even protection stones need to be recharged. They can actually absorb enough energy and impacts that they're going to fail. So you're going to need to recharge those at least once a month. Also, sigil magic is a great way to do this as well. You can create several protection sigils and put them around your home on the outer walls, windows, and doors to, again, create a barrier around the home. You can do the same thing. Granted, you need to make them waterproof if you put them outside. But you can also do this at the four corners of your property, again, creating kind of a grid system in order to protect the property. But again, you do need to make sure you're maintaining those in some fashion. You can also just put up a basic energy barrier or shield around the house the same way you would shield yourself, only larger. But that will need to be maintained more regularly, because your shields are going to deplete around you through the day. So you will need to put that barrier and shield up at least daily in order to maintain it as well. And you can even use the Dragon's Flame ritual and expand its energy to your property if your visualization is strong enough. So that's also an option. Whew. Quick rundown of some options there. Let's see, XO, thank you, I have that class. No problem, XO. Let's see, okay, we're going to have to get ready to wrap up here. Do be sure to check out Tuesday. We got a video on the first spirit of the Goetia coming out, Belle. I know many of you have been really looking forward to us adding those more entities to the playlist, especially Goetic spirits. I know a lot of you have been waiting on that. So that our first one in that series drops Tuesday. Make sure you check that out. Talking Snake, I've been trying to get my fitness on some type of schedule. Join the club. I've been working with Scaldi and Freya and feel like they have been on my butt with exercising. Oh, I have a lot more energy now. Yeah, I work with Freya for the same reason. Me and her actually had a sit-down powwow about my workout schedule and routine, because as I mentioned, Friday actually it was, Friday during the stream, the consistency of it's kind of been an issue with me. I'll be doing great for like 2 weeks and then I'll miss a workout and it just throws off my groove. So her and I sat down and we had a, kind of a readjustment on how we might be able to work that in and everything. She even suggested I have a sit down and chat with Thor. She said she thinks that he'd be a really great motivator for me. I can see that. Although it kind of makes me feel like I'm going to go try and run track and compete against fitness with a Marine, but that kind of challenge might be exactly what I need. So yeah, no, and Scaldi, that's actually a good one. That's a great one too, to work alongside with Freya. That's a good idea there, Talking Snake. And yeah, they are great for making sure you have those energies for those workouts. They really are. Honestly, for my workouts, Freya is always right there beside me, working out with me. And my God, she is a motivator. She will talk me into getting more push-ups, more lift, then I'd probably stop and say I've hit my limit before she lets me. So yeah, she's pretty freaking cool about that. Let's see. No, because it true there are dragons from cultures. Mean by that is they're Japanese dragons, Korean dragons, Chinese dragons, etc. There are dragons that actually do resonate with different cultures because they actually enjoy. Dragons actually enjoy human culture. They actually like to partake in it and study us. That's one of the reasons they enjoy helping us, even though they don't necessarily trust us. Let's be honest, humans give them every reason not to. That's one reason that you do have to earn their trust. But there are, yeah. So that's also the reason you will see dragons appear in different ways and different shapes. The two most common is the Western and the Asian Ling. So you will see those two the most, but some cultures do have a slight variation within those. Quetzalcoatl is a good example of this. Often appears far more feathers than you would see in your traditional dragons, but that is a cultural reference that does pop up. And you do see many dragons that actually do bear those resemblances. So yeah, I mean, they're all dragons. They're all in the same category. It's just they do actually have a area of study that they've enjoyed with human cultures. And you will see many of the appearances and artwork has inspired the dragons, was inspired by the dragons as well. Yeah, dragons do very much have a culture of their own. They really do. That's one reason that they do things and hold themselves to standards that we humans just do not. And humans actually find their culture harsh, but their culture makes sense to them. It's based on respect. It's based on honor. It's based on duty. It's based on strength. So it's a very primal culture. Let's see. All right, we're going to get ready to wind up here. The words will be, we're drawing three winners. We're drawing three winners into this. And you get an entry for every video you comment the code word on. So you up your chances for every video that you comment on, up to a maximum of 3 entries, I think is what it was said. See, let's see. You probably don't have enough time to answer, but if you think about and love dragons a lot, would they be more interested in coming to visit me? Oh, yeah. Right. The short answer is probably. That's the short answer. Wizard Warrior would meditating on the planets and the houses and energies of those give you a better understanding. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the uses of meditation is to actually connect with energy patterns and the like and receive information and wisdom from them. So yeah, that's dead on. All right, everyone, I'm going to get ready to wind up here. I have got a meeting I got to get to. You all have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Again, remember, we got a video coming Tuesday. Make sure you watch it, leave it a like, show your support. Really helps us out a lot here. I also want to give a special shout out to my Patreon members. You guys are amazing. I know I don't do the whole end of video name roll thing, but I do a regular spell working for both tier 2 and tier 3 that we do monthly. And we have been doing special requests enrolled with that as part of it. And I do plan to continue doing that. I had someone ask if I plan to continue it, and I do, because let's be honest, your support is amazing. There have been several times, because this channel can be expensive, but it is thanks to you all that we have been able to be blessed to be able to keep this up. You guys make it totally possible, and I just absolutely have to give you all a shout out for that. This community is amazing at supporting the work we do, and thank you very much for that. All right, everyone, I am going to go hop off here, jump into that meeting, and after the meeting, who knows, I might try and relax a little if I can do that. You all have a great week. Stay safe. Keep your research going. Keep those journals. Make sure you're keeping those journals to track your success rates. Very important in your practice. And I will see you Friday for Research and Ramblings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. Take it easy. Bye.